Already? Okay, we're going to do something a little bit unusual today. And it will require you to open your mind. I'm not talking to you, just talking. It's not about, look, you have sat through many Dhamma talks. You have read many books. Some of you have attended many retreats. Others have written books of your own. So cynical, this laughter. Articles of your own. And if you are still asking this question, what is Dhamma? People talk about see the Dhamma. If you attended last night's talk, Yin Yin talked about how you have to taste for yourself, see for yourself, feel for yourself, perceive for yourself, etc. And if you're still asking this question, what does it mean? Feel, perceive. Why is it like that? Haven't I done enough to feel, perceive, understand, appreciate, realize? Haven't I done enough? If you're still asking this question, then today is another effort at helping you understand what the Buddha was saying. So this is not just talking, pontificating to you. It is not that. This lecture aims to help you experience what the Buddha's Dhamma is. To experience. So it's a very tall order. I can talk, you can understand. But what the goal that I'm setting for myself today is to bring you along into intuitive experience. I hope at the end of this lecture, at least one of you lah. Hopefully two lah. And it will be a huge success, it's many more, says, I finally get what the Buddha is saying. So I call this reality check because ultimately at the end of this talk, it's for you to say, oh, my reality, my conventional reality has a problem. And I finally know what is meant by ultimate reality that the Buddha had spoken about. Okay? So that's the goal. And an opportunity, if I succeed in what I'm doing, then you will actually have an intuitive impression, at least, of what the Buddha had taught. And you will not go away saying, it's ideas, it's perspective. It's not. It literally is a lens through which you see the world. The lens that we are using is faulty. The lens that the Buddha talked about, that lens is the reality lens, the reality check lens. Okay? Game? Game must be a little bit more resounding lah. Yes. So, okay. Take picture. This is where you're supposed to take picture, so that when I start using the Pali word, you have a reference point. Just take the picture first. Take quickly. Seriously, take picture also must swim, man. This thing very swim. You know, I can't really see the words properly. It's not this eyesight. Okay, everybody ready? You mean you are still taking? You're asking this fellow to smile? Smile. Are you done taking? Seriously? Okay, now, exercise first. Huh? Exercise first. And this part, I want you trust me, right? You all trust me, right? Can I ask for your trust just for 2 hours? You do exactly as I ask you to. exactly as I ask you to. Okay? Now, I will show you the next slide. And I want you to spend a moment to think about it first before you answer me. Okay? That's why I'm not asking the question. I flash it at you. I want you to take one moment. Take a moment, look at the question carefully, then you answer honestly. No musawada version. Okay? How far ahead do you make plans? You are to choose only one. So you think about the way you lead your life, right? And then you think, how far ahead you normally plan. Options. No. Think of the alphabet in your head only. Don't say out anything. Okay? So A, decades. B, within the year. C, months. D, weeks, days, hours, minutes. No plan. Think about this. Think about it honestly. If you reflect about your life, the one that is the furthest, say I plan for my retirement and you're 23, okay, decades. Who say age? Who say age? No plan. Meaning to say you don't even plan about what you eat. Do you plan about your food? No plan means you don't even think about food. Meaning you go by the minute. 这边. Who say minutes? Who say minutes? Who say G?
I can say G also.
Okay. Cannot. If you G means your G, not H. What about hours? Meaning to say you plan for tonight. If anybody has plans for tonight, and that's it, no more, then yours is hours. And then if you say that, I only plan until tomorrow, then yours is days. So who say A? Honestly, who say A? Who planned for retirement already? Yes. Who else? Who's planning for their children to grow up? No. Plan means in your mind, you already think about it. It is not seriously planning. It is thinking about it. If you have no children, don't you worry about your retirement? Who says, I don't worry about retirement? I'm retired. Then, when you were still working, who already planned about how they're going to spend their life? Who plans about travel? You all no plan for travel, man? Who is going on a BF tour to Uganda next year? Those are plans. That one's B. That's already a year. You tell me you don't think about going for retreats? Yeah, got plan or not? Got, right? Who plans about what's going to happen in the next promotion? Go for trips? Go and, I retire, I'm going on cruises. Who think about things like that? You got, right? So now I ask you again. A. Most of you guys will have A. In fact, it's so superfluous to even ask the question. My odds, and I put my money on the table, almost all of you has A. 对吗? Fair or not? Fair. This is what I mean. Think carefully before you answer. Because when I take you through the whole thing to the point of the teaching, it's only when you are honest with yourself before you can really understand what the Buddha said. If you like to bluff yourself and say, no lah, I got no plan, what can I say? Then you must be Arahan ma. Even if you are Sotapanna, you still got plan. You see what I'm saying? No. You see, the Buddha's Dhamma, you must remember this. The Buddha's Dhamma is not some esoteric teaching. It literally describes your life. Dukkha arises from your choices in life. Dukkha arises from the way you behave in life. Cessation of dukkha is when you don't behave in the usual way. Cessation of dukkha is possible only when you change the way you think, change your lens. So as long as you are a regular, conventional person, as I said, even if you Sotapana, even when you are at that level, you still have habits. And one habit that we all have is plans. Agree? Correct? Huh? Because if you don't see things as they are, how to teach you see things as they are? Then people say tautology and consumi. Next. Wala. I said select only one. One, okay? You don't select the Dhamma one. You select the one you truly believe. Because right here in front of Buddha, with all the devas around, you don't suka-suka, ayah Dhamma, she wants this answer, I give her this answer. Then it happens. Okay, choice number one. Honest. So afterwards your answer must be, you shout out the answer A, B, C, D, okay? Choice number one. Hey, hello, you go and ask the old folks, right? Ama, when you think you die, toy. Okay, who in this class said A? A also dare not say lah, a bit shy lah, okay? Okay, don't answer until you've seen all the choices, okay? So you'll say, 好像是这一个啦. Don't say anything until you've seen all the choices. Jokes aside now, think a bit more seriously. Huh? B and C, you think carefully, which one, your own sense of yourself, B or C, your own sense of yourself, which one you're leaning towards? Because it depends on good day or bad day, ma. Bad day B, good day C. Is that what I'm saying? Leaning towards. Okay? Now, if you are this one, afterwards, let me know. But I don't have an answer. Okay. Who say tonight? 不可以玩的嘞，这个。I don't want to hear your answer. Because we are all the same. We are very human. No human wants to die. But the way that we deal with it is either we don't think about it, or we say it won't happen yet lah. It won't happen. Okay? Agree or not? So you all have your own answer. You don't have to tell me. You all have your own answer, right? But I can bet you, with the exception of one, nobody thinks of G. G, tonight. Nobody thinks tonight. And the odds are, you also wouldn't say F. The odds are. Okay? And the chances are, you also wouldn't say, because the word is probably within the year, chances are you wouldn't say E.
Unless you have cancer.
Even then, you hope not 1 year. Okay? And at best, when you're at a retreat, perhaps D. Because the teacher kept telling you, think of die. My thing also must think. Alright? And therefore, by a logical process of deduction, I will say you're either a B or a C. 对吗? 对，OK， 对啊，对啊，对了，我才可以走嘛。I mean, I can move on. OK， 好了，可以了。So 今天呢，today's talk, we will be covering these 2 points. The delusional instincts of the regular mind, as explained in AN 449 with Palasa Suta. And B, what's the implications for practice? And for A, the exercise earlier was to help you realize for yourself the problem with our faulty lens. So what did this sutta say? Wait, the word, I'm using the translation given by Bhante Bhikkhu Bodhi. He used the word inversions. If you go to Sutta Central and you check out Ajahn Sujato's translation, he used the word perversion. So, we happily introduce to you English dictionary, which I can't see. A situation in which something is changed so that it's the opposite of what was before. In other words, inversion. What is? You don't see it as is, you see the opposite. That's what it means. The conventional lens is faulty because you don't see things as they are. We always have this phrase, right? Seeing things as they are, seeing things as they are. What is this that you're supposed to see as they are? You're supposed to see these 4 factors, 4 conditions as they are. Okay? And the first condition, I'm going to show you. It's really small. There are these 4 inversions of, I deliberately kept all the Pali words. Perception, mind, and view. Later in the lecture, much later, I will explain to you why the Buddha was so specific. He didn't say your mind has this problem, 4 things. He said perception, mind, and view. And there's a reason for that, which I will talk about only at the end of the talk, because I want you to go through it first. So the first inversion is the regular mind has a habit of taking impermanent to be permanent. You can guess what's coming up. Suffering to be pleasurable. Non-self to be self. And all these are the 3 universal characteristics. Okay? And therefore, your conventional reality is what? The 4th one, taking what is unattractive to be attractive. Okay? So right until this point, take picture, remember it, because we'll keep coming back to this. Then I got to wait. Or people fish out camera. They must take picture. They're very happy too. Now, I will repeat again. What is impermanent? The regular mind takes it as permanent. What is dukkha? The regular mind takes it as pleasurable. What is non-self? The regular mind takes it as self. And what is unattractive? The regular mind takes it as attractive. Then you say, okay, I know already, go home. 对吗？不对. You know, but you don't know. Why do I say that? First inversion problem, You see, the regular mind does not see. No one here, not even all the most energetic, most vigilant practitioner here No one here thinks, today is the day I will die. No one thinks that. Not even if you're 90-year-old or, I don't know, 90-something-year-old. You wouldn't say, today I will die. You will say soon. But 90 already, you will say soon. But you will not say, today I will die. Yes? You won't say, tonight I will die. That means tonight I go to sleep, tomorrow I won't wake up. No one thinks like that. Yeah? What is the perverted reality? If today is not the day you die, and every day is not today, then when will it be today? You think about it. So the perverted reality, the mind can't see it. It is not that you are deluded, it's that the mind cannot wrap around the idea that today is the day it will die. And if it cannot wrap around that idea, then what does it mean? You stand aside and you look at it, you're saying that you are immortal. Yes? You think about it. You know you're not immortal. We all know we will die one day. We all know our loved ones will die one day. We know that. But the mind cannot accept that, you see. The mind will always perceive that it is not going to be today. So actually, you will end up basically saying, today will never come. And therefore, you, by instinct, almost instinctive, your mind automatically assumes immortality in what is mortal. So impermanence, you don't see. You see permanence. It's this part. Now do you understand why the Buddhists say, in what is impermanent, you take permanence? Do you get it? Yes. Now does this anicca make sense? Now do you know why if we all go on and on and on talking about impermanence of emotions, it just doesn't drive in. You go look at the suttas. Do you know how many suttas the Buddha talk about death? Yeah. They were just introducing the one on the mountain. What's it? RX. Simile of the mountain. A-N? SN 3.25, simile of the mountain. Mountain come crushing, like aging and death. And mortality is coming at you from all sides. Mortality comes at you from all sides. And you are told. But the king says, so? And like us, so? Because it's going to happen to someone else, not me. Lucky. One day your luck will run out. Do you see what I'm saying? How our cute little human minds are so deluded. So in what is mortal, we perceive immortality. In what is impermanent, you perceive permanence. Question. Does this make sense to you? This, by the way, is exactly what the Buddha had been saying. Now, do you know why you have that reflection about I am not immune from death, I'm not immune from old age, I'm not immune from sickness and all those things? Because this is a reality which we all don't want to see. Now, because of this instinct and habit, sorry, we had this already, right? Okay. Because of this habit, this is what will happen. I'll give you all of them. We all don't have a sense of urgency. It's because your mind keeps seeing immortality. which you don't tell yourself, oh, I'm immortal, because then that would be stupid. But the reality is, our mind believes that. That's how we act. And that's why you have no sense of urgency. Look, if you know you're going to die tonight, or if you believe this can happen, it can happen tonight. It can happen now. Oops. It can happen, right? If your mind really thinks that way, you tell me whether there's a sense of urgency. Of course it will start. Of course it will start. If you are wise. If you're not wise, then what do? You drink yourself dumb. You will immerse in distracting thoughts. But if you have wisdom, you will say, okay, I don't have a lot of time. I don't even know when time runs out. Okay, I was trying to explain this to my mom. And this is what I say to her. And this is therefore what I'm going to say to you. Suppose, let's say you have children. If you have children, you think about your kids having exam. If it's not your children, you yourself having exam, okay? You're going to have exam and the teacher says this to you. Okay, I'm going to give you a test or give you an exam. But I'm not going to tell you when the date is. It will come when it comes. Okay? The exam, the test for you will come when it comes. What's the first thing you do? Complain to MOE. But what's the first thing you will do? This exam means everything. It will determine whether you pass or fail. What would you do? Go study, right? Because you don't know when it's going to drop on you. You better get yourself prepared, right? And they're very dukkha. Aiyo, don't want to tell us, so cruel, so dukkha. It comes when it comes, then every day I go to study, every day I go to, right? Yes? Or you're going to say, it's okay lah, it won't happen today one. Which will you say? You will not say it won't happen tomorrow. You will say it may very well happen tomorrow. So I better prepare. Why is it exam you so kanchiong? When the death is the same thing. You honestly don't know when the exam will come. But your attitude is la di di da. The attitude is, who cares? Don't worry, it won't be tomorrow. How come your exam you think tomorrow can happen, but death won't? Because you think about how our mind bluff us. Huh? Okay? And then I said, you either, if you are young and you are healthy and you think this is a time to make money, you will say, don't worry lah. When I'm older, I will practice law. It is perfectly fine. Huh? Then when time runs out, old already ma. What excuse do you have? So you're old already and you say, "Aiya, too late lah." I cannot one lah, no more time already, too late lah. So what do? Aiya, just enjoy life lah. After maybe tomorrow die already. See what I'm saying? This is, and this is only one problem. Huh? There are many more. Oops. How do you delete?
No, you just press the arrow key up.
Previous. So the second thing is, we get our priorities wrong. What do I mean? Huh? Now you think. I ask you to think, you think. I ask you to reflect, you reflect. Suppose, let's say, you are told 7 days left to your life. 7 days later, I chop your head off. Execution, huh? You have 7 days left. You tell me what would you do. In your mind, you will then say the most important things, like say goodbye, tell my loved one I love them, that sort of things, right? Now, you tell me, in your regular life, how often do you focus on the really important things? You want to shut window, you want to scold your kids to study, you want to do this, you want to go that, but you don't necessarily will tell your kid, I love you, in case I don't see you tomorrow. Because it is joy. You see what I'm saying? Our priorities are very much dependent on our time impression. But you know, your time impression is delusional. Then how? See that? Okay, next. This one. If you know you have 7 days left, you will not be petty. You will tell yourself, I will hold my sila well. But when the exam is not tomorrow and you never know when, what happens? I fight to the death with you. That is why we're so petty. Oh, the loba dosa moha, go crazy. Okay? When people are, I get asked this question, when people are not nice, people are selfish, you mean what? I'm supposed to let it be. If you only have tonight left, will you let it be? Yes. It's only when you have no idea when is the end of point, then you are petty. Okay? But the most problematic is this one. If you don't see mortality, it's very difficult to understand dukkha. Definitely not the way he meant it to be understood. It is only when the doctor tells you 6 months, no more, then the dukkha starts. Agree? You think about it. Why do you think there is so much fear with being told the diagnosis is bad? Time is running out. Because when that happens, anicca is very stuck. Mortality is very stuck. And then you cannot enjoy anymore because your mind keeps straying back to the end. Agree? And that is why it's part of their training for the monks. The manner in which they reflect death is in the next bite, the next swallow, the next breath. They don't even panchan and say tonight. That's how they are trained. It is it's a reminder. You see, our mind is so naughty. It doesn't want to address ugliness. It only wants the pretty things in life, the beautiful, the delusional dreams. The mind likes that. This is only one of 4. Okay? And the mind, because it likes that, you don't keep reminding the mind, you enjoy that, tomorrow die already. If you don't do that, the mind will just go back to its la-di-di-da state. Happy like a lark. For tomorrow we die. Happy like a lark. Okay. Up to this point, you guys are okay? 不要哭哦，不要哭. You understand? But do you see anicca now? How many of you still say what? How many still say what? Everybody understood? Ask the right question, get the answer you want. You all now understand anicca, right? Cannot say you don't understand anicca. In Untitled Sutta, the Buddha said, in what is anicca, dukkha or sukha? They all say dukkha. Now can you understand why? Now can you understand Untitled Sutta? When life is impermanent, dukkha or sukha? What's your answer? Dukkha. Why? Because it's only when you see mortality that the dukkha is very obvious. As long as your mind does not wrap itself around mortality, sukha is the business. Dukkha got no business. Okay? Next question. Again, now you know why I'm making you guys do tests. Because you have to see for yourself. My life as it is. You can select only one. And make it an honest one. You can select only one, okay? Must honest one, Do not give me the answer that Sylvia Bay wants. Because if you give me the honest one, it makes sense. Perfect. Almost perfect. Okay lah, but can be better. Average. Below average. Who says no comment? Who says no comment? Good. Very good. Now you know your answer, right? In all honesty, which one do you think, you don't have to tell me your answer, you look at A to F, which one do you think will garner the most answer? A, B, C. Who says C? Who say that most people here will say C? Yeah? Who says most people here will say perfect? Abonanga. What about almost perfect? Not likely lah, huh? Chances are okay, but can be better. Fair? Everybody agree? Consensus, right? But of course you are not C lah. Yours is maybe B lah. Huh? Okay. Other people want C lah. Do you not think between C and D, which one do you think more likely? C. Most of you think it's C. You are happy people. But let's just say, take it out of this hall. It's a hall, okay? We take it out of this hall and we go into the general population. Do you think it's B or C or D? E. So jialat lah. Okay, who think that if you go out into the Singapore population out there, right, it's likely to be C? Who say? Singapore first. Yeah. Who say it's likely to be C? Who says it's D? You all say what? Then raise up. I want to see whether C is more or D is more. Okay? Who says C? Higher? Okay. Who says D? 50-50 ma? Between C and D lo? Fair? Okay. 来了. The cartoon must come out first. So cute, right? I like the last one. Your cartoon also take pictures, seriously. You know, this is going to be uploaded, right? You can put your camera here, use your high resolution one, take picture, right? Moving on. Now, the next test, the next questionnaire, you are to tick as many as applicable. Okay? Not tick one, Tick as many as applicable to you. And I will know. Because if you're not married, you shouldn't have ticked the one on children. But then again, I'm assuming. Okay, lie down. Next. I believe my life will be perfect if I. Okay, select all that's relevant. Oh, the bottom can't see properly. Can Can you all see the bottom? Oh, yes. Okay, Then I deliberately make it 10 so that I can count them. Alright? Now, what I want you guys to do is, in your mind, you count how many you have. Okay? In your mind, you count how many you have. Okay, or rather, how many is what you would choose. Including have children and grandchildren, if that's something you want to have. Okay? And then I'm going to ask you your numbers, and you're going to tell me, and we're going to figure out which number, 1, 2, 3 of 10, has the most hands up. Fair? Yeah? Have you finished reading or not? Complain some more. Should be D lo. Yes.
None of those.
You can have new ones lah. Okay, then yours is number 11. Okay. Okay, how many applies to you? 1 is meeting people, 2 is having the next generation, 3 is about your job, 4 is about money, 5 is about leisure, 6 is fun and leisure, 7 is about friendship, 8 is service, 9 is Dhamma, and 10. Hello, this is a Dhamma class, right? This is a Dhamma class. So you must put in 9 and 10, right? Okay, who says 10? 10. All 10, yes. Yeah, why not? It's okay, it's okay. Yeah, I also can tell for all 10. Okay, how many all 10? All 10. Well done. 十全十美. Who says 9? 9. Well done. You don't want which one, Nibbana, is it? Who says 8? Bonang ah. Fa. 7. Did you count or not? 7. Okay, 6. 5. 4. Your hand's not up, I will point at you and ask you which one, huh? 3. 2. 1. Okay, who says 0? Who's not here? You don't count. Who's not? Okay. What do you have?
Okay, why I think, because I don't think that my life could be better, I'm happy with my life.
Okay.
So this question doesn't apply.
Okay. So just now, earlier on, did you choose A?
Almost perfect.
So you're B lah, you're one of the B's lah. Okay, correct. The ones who say C's and D's, you must have stuff here. Correct. I tricked you a bit, huh? But correct. Yeah. Let me ask you this, huh? Apart from you, everyone else, anything up here? You don't want to enter the stream also,
No, I'm happy with the progress. I didn't say...
well done. Okay. Now, let me ask you, back to the choices. In your own mind, back to the choices. You saw them, right? Meaning you see for yourself, you're seeing for yourself that in your mind, these are some of the things that you aim for. Fair? Fair? Hello?
Yes.
It's like I'm digging a big hole there and fall down, fall. No, I'm sincere, you know. I'm sincerely asking you. No, because you're going to look at the second point. Oh, it's just a cartoon. Don't take picture. Does this statement resonate with you? Yes. Wait. Statement must come out first. Meaning to say, is there in you at least this voice? Surely this is not the sum of it all. This is all there is to life. Does this statement make sense? Meaning you as you are, where you are. Is there this part in you? Search your own heart. Look inwards, search your own heart, and ask yourself, this is it. Okay? Some will say, okay lah. Some will have a very strong, surely it cannot be just like that. You know what I'm saying? This is for you. I want to tease it out of your mind, heartfelt words. What we're doing here is to tease it out of you. Pull out within your own mind your sense of the degree of satisfaction, contentment, or dissatisfaction, discontentment. Okay? You know for yourself the answer. is it fair to say that if I were to say in this room, many of us, we're quite okay, we're quite happy, but it'd be nice if there is a little bit more. Is that fair to say? Yes? Fair? This is as mild as I can put it. Because you guys are all gunning for the right answer, the right answer, the right answer. You what taking exam? There's no right answer. This experiment, this survey will work to help you see for yourself in your mind. That's the intent. To trying to yank away the lens, just like the mortality test, is to yank away the lens. And the lens is this. We plan a lot. We plan. In fact, this class may not even be representative of the population. Agree? Because many of you are practitioners. You understand the Dhamma. You're trying to understand the Dhamma. You're, by national standard, all above average. Because you are all by nature above national average, I have to pull teeth. I feel that like teeth extraction to extract it out of you that, yeah, I got to plan a bit. Down to you eat, right? You plan for dinner tonight, right? Yeah. Sure, that one always floor people. You don't plan where you eat, meh? So, but do you agree that most people have this problem? 不是讲你啊，讲别人啊。Do you agree that most people have this problem? They plan a lot. We plan a lot. Why? Because we derive pleasure and meaning from plans. Agree? I will just stop here until I hear answers. Yeah. No, don't answer because I want to hear. You must answer when it makes sense. Sweet. But it shows this. Written into our genetic code, is a certain urge to move, to improve. When you are better practice, you learn not to push. You learn to accept. You learn to make do. You learn to be content. But when you have no exposure to the Dhamma, and you have no wisdom other than the mundane wisdom, then you will go into your instinct, which is to improve, to be better, to get something. Even when you go into the Dhamma, you still want to improve. All of you, maybe not all, those of you who meditate, and you believe that you have never experienced jhana before, is there a part in you that wonder what it is like? For sure. And even if, by technical terms, you have experienced jhana, is there a part in you that says, but is this really jhana? Got ba? Ubo? And when you experience what is obviously jhana, right? Do you say, is it it? This is it? So the human mind very instinctively seeks. That's actually embedded. It's like a habit embedded. You have to actively stop it. If you're not aware that it's even there, you wouldn't know what to stop. You only know that you're very agitated. But when you begin to understand the nature of the mind, this tanha factor, the thirst factor. You know, Buddha talks about kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, right? Karma tangha, bhava tangha, vibhava tangha, right? It's a thirst. Karma tangha is a thirst relating to sense base. So taste, sight, sound, smell, touch. Those are your karma tangha. Meaning to say, they are the craving that one experience from engaging with the world with our sense bases. The experience is external. So there is a part of us that goes into the world to seek the pleasure we want and to repeat those pleasures. But it's all sense-based. Bhava tangha is the tangha that arises when it's in the mind. The mind seeks pleasure inwards. Recalling something beautiful makes me smile, so we want to recall. And if there's nothing for you to recall, the mind goes into a doldrum. I'm bored. I need stimulation. It's actually stimulation. Either it's external stimulation or an internal stimulation. But the stimulation is built in. And then at the deathbed, it does not want to end. The instinct is, I don't want to become full stop. I want some more stimulation. So the bhava continues. Okay? Vibhava is when an experience is not, dukkha, and it's not nice. So you want not to experience again. You turn away. Okay? Now can you see how the instincts are so strong? Inside, outside and inside, the thirst. You bakao jiak bukao, like bin ke jiak, eat some more. Repeat broadcast, the taste very nice. Oh, right, food blog. Make everybody salivate. Okay? So what's the reality? The reality is we are never satisfied because of that gnawing in you. It's always there. But because you derive joy from gratification, you derive pleasure from gratification, you perceive and experience all experiences as potentially pleasurable. So what is, because craving is actually dukkha, yes? We all know that second noble truth. Craving is actually dukkha. But gratification is pleasure. So you take what is dukkha to be pleasurable. Get it? Yeah. Now can you see what is impermanent, i.e. your life? You're stuck in the immortality mode, permanence. What is impermanent is dukkha. But you plan your whole life. You plan for gratification. You plan for pleasure. The mind automatically plans for pleasure. So you're blinded from this habit of planning, and you take what is dukkha to be pleasurable. Buddha's not wrong, right? Buddha is so right. Get it? Again, mortality. Only when you are sitting there knowing the clock is ticking. And every tick is a sign of the death sound. Meaning you get closer and closer. That is when passing time is dukkha. Like, you sit with someone on a death watch. That is very dukkha. And we all never see that until you have to, you don't want to. That's our problem. Okay? And the consequences of this? The consequences of this blindness, this inversion, is the regular person unwittingly, and this is a supreme irony, unwittingly in a day-to-day basis, they will just keep generating dukkha because they're always seeking, always looking. Agree? And this, what does it mean? A wasted life of molehills. Do you know the expression, making a mountain out of a molehill? All the unnecessary, not important stuff, you generate so much work, so much wanting, so much planning, so many little mountains of molehills. Or molehills or mountain? Mountains of molehills, correct. It's called kepo. And this one, I'll give you the last two together. This one, this is where the problem lies. Because the regular mind leans towards wanting and craving and lobha, right? The Buddha tells you craving is dukkha. Why like that? Why like that? So jalat. Letting go is cessation of dukkha. Really, me? And that is why when he first saw and realized and he was awakened and is enlightened, what was the first thing he said? The mind leans towards not sharing. How to share? The human instincts is all about lobha and tangha and craving. And you see, many of us are here. I mean, honestly, right? Seriously, you're so enlightened, you came here because you're enlightened. No, we're here because we have a lot of dukkha. Many of us come here, we believe that there is an answer in the Dhamma somewhere. Because Buddha promised cessation of dukkha. So there must be an answer somewhere. And then we come here hoping to get our cake and eat it. So we live our regular life and cessation of dukkha. Right? What was that? 两全其美. Right? Perfection. There's no such thing as having your cake and eat it. The moment you start to understand, you must understand why dukkha arises in the first place. And once you understand why dukkha arises, you realize, bo pian. You have to do exactly as prescribed. You want cessation of dukkha? You must first know what is dukkha. And then he says, here, think of it like that. You come here to find cessation of dukkha. And then you walk out saying, she says, I must think about mortality. I'm supposed to think about mortality. If I don't think about mortality, then I'm living a deluded life. So part of my practice is to think about death. Like that, is there any more dukkha? Huh? I will explain why. But here, you just remember, when the Buddha say you don't see things as they are, it's because of these. Now, do you want a break before we go into anatta? We take a break first, huh? Now, what we went through earlier, make sense?
Yes.
I'm checking your mind. No. I was going to. Of course, it makes sense. It cannot not make sense. But what I mean is, does it give you a reality check?
Yes.
Does it make you pause and go, oh, like that? Huh? Is it?
Yes.
Because look, as I said when I started this talk, I said this earlier, it's not as if you don't know anicca, dukkha, anatta, isn't it? Especially this group, you anicca, dukkha, anatta until the cow comes home. Then why am I still talking about inversion of lenses. Because you know, your lens hasn't changed, right?
Yeah.
For many of us, we say, hey, the lens hasn't quite changed properly. Why isn't the lens changing properly? So the intent today is to help you wipe a bit more of the dirt off of the lenses. Huh? And if it begins to... Now, it will take a while for your experience today to sink in. It will take a while. I mean, that lens you've been holding for centuries, right? For lives, so therefore it's centuries, right? In fact, it's in the gazillion of centuries we don't even know how to use. We don't have a word for the centuries anymore because there's so many of them. Like scores of centuries. And therefore, one hour lecture cannot change a centuries worth of habits, yes, of inversions. Now the next inversion is a little bit trickier because the first two, sometimes you can catch a glimpse of it. 你勉强一点 you can understand. The other two, Anija But another, how many people say I understand?
I think conceptual.
Huh?
Conceptual, yes.
Conceptual, yes lah. So what's another conceptually? Huh? 5 aggregates. You all know about the 5 aggregates. And if Naman Rupa made up 5 aggregates, so of grasping, don't forget aggregate of grasping. Like that, no? And that's it. What's that to say? We have this to say. Yeah. It doesn't work.
Works.
Okay. Must click many times. Yeah. A lot of things. Okay, first, I need to explain a little bit about this term. For the benefit of those who are new here, I will just explain the word after. Okay? The word after. In the Buddha's time, there is an existing, a pre-existing concept of after. And the idea there is it's eternal, it's unchanging, it exists separate from this entity. From your regular experience, there is an after that is the sum of you. That's the idea in the Buddha's time, huh? Separate from the body. Now, for us, in regular life, you don't see, you can't, it's very difficult to see another. Because in our regular life, we experience everything as a unison whole. Isn't it? We experience life as like a person, intact. So when you tell me there's no self, there's no me, there's no real self, there's no essence in me, it's very hard to accept. So what we're going to do is to do another little experiment. I'm going to give you a statement, okay? And I want you to look at this statement closely. Our mind is not always content. Fair? Yes. It must be a statement that you can identify with. If the statement, you can't identify with this statement, we will tweak it for your benefit. Okay? Is the first line fair? Our mind is not always content. Even for one who is quite content, this statement is a fair statement, yeah? Yeah? We are always planning to improve our life and make it a little better. Fair? Anybody object to it? Okay. Now,
is the raison d'etre of our existence? What is the reason for your being? Does the statement make sense? Does this statement make sense?
Yes.
Do you know instinctively what it means?
Yes.
That very instinctively, moment to moment, we are being someone. That is why we get so agitated when someone says something that doesn't gel with your excellent impression of yourself. If you perceive yourself to be the most generous being that walk on land, and someone point out to you, you're not very generous there. You are being somebody. You are always being somebody. Going somewhere is not a distance. It can be a time distance. Movement, improving. Improving is still going somewhere. You understand? So if you look into your mind carefully, and you tell me, instinctively in your mind, are you being somebody? Changing. I'm being a mother. I'm being a wife. I'm being good students. I'm being devotee, a devout follower of the Buddha. The mind makes, the mind aspires, even aspiration. It's all being something. We are constantly trying to shape change. Change is a given. We try to shape it. Agree? That's why this habit is instinctive. Mind is not always content, always planning to improve our life, make it better. However you look at it, it is very instinctive. Now, we are going to dissect the statement. So, can you see the statement in a very murky way? The usual lens, the usual. It's deliberate, of course. Okay, now let's dissect that sentence. Our mind is not always content. Not content. Not content, at the heart of it, is a feeling. You can translate it into a sentence, but actually when we use the word not content, not satisfied, I'm unhappy with you, what is it? It's a feeling. So in Pali, Vedana. Okay? Planning. We're always planning. What is planning? To plan, you have to construct. To construct, you have to build. Basically you're building. Ideas come up, reject, elaborated, make it more atas a bit, go back to feeling, I like it or not, I like. Can you see these two interacting already? Just on one simple statement, Vedana is there, Shankara is there. Sanya. This one I'm going to pause and explain a little bit more. In English, we call it perception. It's just another word for it. But what is this thing? If you say I'm planning for it to be better, planning, what is better? Who defines better? The farmer in Afghanistan only wants sheep. You want sheep or not? You don't want sheep. Many sheep does not make you rich. You see what I'm saying? Your idea of what is better or worse is entirely culturally, societal driven. As you are growing up, your mother say, if you drive Mercedes, very good thing. When you're older in life, you cannot understand why, but you have to get a Mercedes. So what shapes Sanya is the baseline lens. It's basically the door that enters the world, whether inward, outward, whatever. It is that part of you that says, aha, it's there. It's just one word, apple, orange. Okay, to a new generation of people, you say apple, they think of iPhone, iPod. To your grandmother, you say apple is 苹果. You see what I'm saying? The lens, that entry point when you recognize something, that is sanya. But that recognition is culturally based. And it's very much influenced by your upbringing, your people you respect talking to you, your elders, your peers, even your children. How many grandparents here saying that my grandchildren are the one who decide things and so on and so forth. Very much sanya is the result of your experience in the world. So you want to make something better? It is in your context. Okay? And finally, there is a platform for you to experience all these. And that is jnana. So in this one sentence, was the Buddha right or wrong? The brain is the one that is processing it. But the Buddha was right. These 4 parts, nama. In that one sentence there, it's actually in parts. The reality is, whatever thoughts that you have, they are in parts. But the moving parts are so fast. The moving parts are so fast. Actually, this slide is mainly to say that in one simple statement, which is really everything that we say, right? We say these things very casually. But in a simple statement, you have the 5 aggregates of grasping completely contained there at work. And the reality is really 5 aggregates. They are a complex web of interactive cognitive processes. Meaning to say, you are a complex creature. Your mind, I'm not saying something that's new, you know that. It's when your mind has all these parts moving very fast, interacting very fast, but you don't see the parts. The problem is you see a whole. They are parts, each one rising, falling. So fast, you don't see it. Unless your mind is very quiet and you sit there, you quietly observe. And then you can see assumptions, presumptions, perceptions. You can see bits and pieces you spot. It doesn't mean they're not linear. They are almost surging very fast. They're not like, I finished already, your turn, and then your turn. It doesn't work like that. Our mind, your neuron pathways, they are, or your, I don't even know the correct medical term for it, but it's very fast. You know what I mean? And each one is conditionally arisen and conditionally fades away, cease. You know that. And this is the part that the Buddha says it's non-self. Why is it non-self? Because it's non-self because it's actually in parts, but you don't see the parts. You see them as a whole. You don't see the mental processes, the Vedana, the Sanya, the Shankara. You don't see these Vijnana. You don't see them as little parts, you see them as a whole. When you perceive it as a whole, basically see yourself as standing aside, looking at it, you see a whole picture, it must be real. This is how your mind works. Our mind takes shortcut, sums things up. This, let me ask you, in Vedana, feeling, you know, we are not always content. Is the self there? We are always planning. There is always planning going on. Is the self there? There's no self. It comes and it went. But you perceive the self because you have the whole sentence as a whole. When you have plans, you are caught up in plans. When you are able to stand aside and see plan as sanya, or shankara, or vijnana, or vedana, when you are able to say that's pain, that's labeling, that's recognition, that's assumptions. When you are able to see it like this, you will then realize that every one of a moment is only one moment. It comes and it goes. What arises fades. What arises ceases. But the mind remembers. So the mind puts it all together and have a picture. And in the picture, it's me. It's the I. And for a long time, we are so used to seeing as a whole, not recognizing, not even accepting it as parts. Now, you sit here, you hear it, and you go, yeah, I know it's parts. It's rising, falling, yeah. But I still believe there is an I. Yes? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
Why? You agree it's parts, right? This is not the part that's difficult to understand. You agree it's every one of them is parts. Vedana is parts. Vedana arises, fade. 1 minute you're happy, next minute you're sad. 1 minute you're angry, next minute you're not. And in all this Vedana, the human mind likes to give a meaning, a story to the Vedana. In the story, if you attended my previous talk, it's the stories. The stories also rise and fall. The stories also come up and fades. But you remember the stories. You keep the story. The stories then become part of your perception, your sanya. The stories that you create. So what is constructed becomes sanya. Construction going on, construction is fed by sanya. Constructed already, it goes back to sanya. Sankhara is construction, sanya is perception. So and you are all driven by feelings. Feeling for pleasure, pushing away pain, pushing away displeasure. All shades of not pleasant push away. The choices are always pleasure. All shades of pleasure and joy. Pleasant. All the shades you want. The other shades you don't want. And all these, one, don't want, becomes the motivation. And sanya remembers. Sanya chooses. Shankara construct. Can you see how all these things are going on and on and on and on and on and on? And in any of these, where's the soul? Where's the ultimate? So imagine how weird we all are. We have to prove something which is not there that it's not there. That's what I'm doing. It is not there. But we all believe it is there. And I have to prove it is not there when it's really not there. You tell me where the soul is. Does it reside in the Vedana? Or does it reside in the sanya? Or does it reside in the Shankara? Or the other? All of the above. But how did all of the above come about? They all rise and fall. Is it in the rising part or in the falling part that is a soul? I have an explanation why you have that problem. But right now, the Buddha says, the regular mind takes what is non-self for the self. What is non-self are the parts. But the regular mind sees the parts as a whole. And it remembers that whole. And in that whole that it remembers, it's all part of your sanya. It's part of your sanya that you remember. And that becomes you. Okay? So what's the consequences? What is the consequences of this particular problem? The biggest problem is every time we perceive us to be real, then there is something for you to protect. There's interest for you to defend. There are benefits for you to chase after. If you perceive everything as rising, falling, and not you, not essence, no essence, no something beyond the rising, falling of the conditions, of the aggregates. If you perceive it as real and you can't get away from the perception that there is an essence in you, then when with the arising of unwholesome instincts, you can't let go. You will chase. And once it arises, once the unwholesome instinct arises, it will proliferate. Because at the back of the mind is still this clinging on to an essence that is real. This part is your own personal sense. For those of you who are practicing, you meditate and so on and so forth, right? Do you get a sense that when you are akusala, when your instincts, when your experience is akusala, you know akusala, right? When your instincts are akusala, when your experience is akusala, the I feels very big. Do you feel that? But when you're kusala, the I feels very dispersed. Do you feel that? When you're feeling generous, and you're feeling giving, you feel compassionate, you feel metta, all these are very kusala. When you feel these, the I doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel there. But when you're angry, when you feel cheated, when you're impatient, the sense of the I is real, right? And that's where I'm going to explain to you. The sense of the I is defilement. What is defilement? Mental defilement is the I. Your I will feel the biggest when you're most defiled. So if that's the case, how real is it? How real is this? And the only way you can try and overcome a habit of holding it to be real, the only way is to keep reminding yourself, this is my me, which I will go into in a while, since I'm here to talk about it. Now, as long as in your mind you hold on to the 5 aggregates of grasping as has an essence, real, with an essence. There is something intrinsic there that is permanent and non-changing. As long as the mind holds on like this, tanha will not cease. Craving will not cease. Because I already told you, defilement is the experience of the I, the strongest. That is why Ajahn Jayasaro is so sweet. He said, think of the defilements. Overcoming the defilements is the trick to the practice. Constantly do that. Okay? Now I'm going to repeat this again. It's hard to understand, I know. First, you must remember, memorize well the 5 aggregates of grasping. Form, feelings, perception, construction, consciousness, vijnana. Okay, let's take it in Pali. You all know the Pali, right? Okay. What is Vedana?
Feelings.
That which feels. That which experiences pleasure or pain. That aspect of you, the aspect of the mind that experiences pleasure of pain and feel it as such. Feel it. So there is pleasant and pleasurable or painful and suffering. That part is Vedana. And this part, Vedana, has to be understood as not mind, no I, not self, not soul, not after. Can you remember that? That which feels. So what happens when you do it like this? Because feeling is such a powerful, has such a powerful hold over our minds. We are literally driven by pleasure and driven away by pain. You will not like somebody if he gives you pain. You will love anybody that gives you pleasure, or joy, or happiness, or pleasant sensations. That's why I've been telling people, you don't want to die alone, be nice. Who likes someone who nags at them? Seriously. You don't like to be nagged at, don't nag at another. If you bring someone a lot of pleasant experiences, they're very happy to be with you. Get it? Okay. Sanya. What is sanya? What is sanya? Is that which recognizes, labels. That's the start point. When you see anything, when you look around you and you cast your eyes around you, the mind registers what it means, that's sanya. And you think that is it. No. Sanya is the baseline of your engagement with the world. Feeling drags you around, but sanya causes your assumptions, your prejudices, they all come from sanya. Sanya is the sum of your memory. And from the sum of your memory comes a label. You see a face that once upon a time gave you a lot of pain. Vedana, instinctive, I don't like. Sanya, recognize. When you don't recognize the face, there is no anger. When you recognize the face, anger starts. You see that? So sanya is very powerful. You have to be very careful. Look at your own mind. You want to practice? You look at how your mind sanya the world. I mean it. And sanya comes and goes, right? So how your mind recognizes and labels, that tells you what kind of a person you are. If you see something you recognize and your label is a negative one, you're not a very nice person. You're very kusala already, you don't even know that. If you see something and let's say you see the person giving money to another and your sanya tells you, nah lah, it's a cheat lah. What kind of person are you? That's sanya, by the way, that is not Shankara yet. Shankara comes in after that. I must call police. That's Shankara. In a society like ours, we see police, we like police, right? Police good. In our society. In another society where police is not so good, and police is not so nice, they see the police, they run. You see what I'm saying? Sanya.
So the Singaporean will go somewhere and go, police good! And then all your friends say, no! That way. Sanya is conditional. You see that? And Sanya changes. And what are we trying to do? In our practice, we change Sanya. You change Sanya. You change Sanya to become a wholesome Sanya. If your Sanya if your instinct is everything negative, you teach your mind to speak positive so that the Sanya is a nicer version. It helps you, you're a happier person. Sanya is where you have to switch. The fact that it can switch and it can change, and as you grow older, your Sanya keeps changing. Which part is you? Which part is real? Your perspective when you are a child and your perspective now. That's Sanya, right? Which one is real? Which one is you? So why are you real? You see what I'm saying? So we know feelings change very fast. We know Sanya change a bit slower. It's very hard to change a person's mind, right? But it still changes. And Shankara, you know, changes all the time. But Shankara construction is very much dependent on Sanya. If you're not a practitioner, Shankara Sanya talk the same language. If you're a practitioner, that's when your Shankara Sanya should start to talk differently. Your instinct say not nice on this person, your Shankara say cannot say like that, cannot say like that, cannot say like that. No, I'm serious. Why do you think the Buddha keeps telling you to say and to change perspective? How many of you attended last night's talk? What did Yan tell you about Sanya? Remember what she said about Sanya? Anicca, non-self, asubha. She told you all those things, right? Your baseline is a certain version. You don't change that baseline. How to practice? Your version won't change. You have to change the version, the lens you see the world. That's Sanya. What we are doing tonight, today, this afternoon, is helping you realize what is the version, the lens that you carry, and we are changing that Sanya. And you need construction to help change. Because construction is very conscious. You can be mindlessly constructing, but you cannot be dead. You cannot be unconscious to construct. You have to be conscious. So the construction part is where you can nail it, jam it, and construct along the Dhamma way. That is what you call a practitioner, constructing along the Dhamma way. Get it? So now you know how important the aggregates are. Now, if you do it correctly according to the Dhamma, the training method, your vijnana, which is just a platform of consciousness, your vijnana should be peaceful, should be joyous and balanced. Of course, vijnana is not the one that is vedana, it's not, but it's aware, it's there, it's present. Vijnana does not exist without the others. No Sanya, no Shankara, no Vedana, no Vijnana. Okay? So you can see from all these that you are no more than the sum of the aggregates. And understanding that these aggregate bits arise and fall, arise and fall. Understand that, and understand that you can change this. It's the reason why we are Buddhist and practitioner. Because you understand you can change, you understand how to change, then it's whether you have the wisdom to do it. Some of us, we know how, sort of. Some of us think we understand why we must do it, but we don't do it. So like that, lor. What's the consequence of it? Like that, lor. What's that to say? Okay? But you're already very much better than people who don't even realize that you can change all these things and make your life a happier life. Okay, we have one more inversion to go. This is really a long talk. The Buddha said, you see perception? Buddha said, the regular man will take what is unattractive to be attractive. Yes? That's what the Buddha said. This part you don't have to agree, you must say yes. So this part is my free question for you. So you say yes and you feel very good, okay? Okay, two parts to examine in this statement. Now, taking what is unattractive to be attractive. How come like that? You mean you can't tell? Why is it that the Buddha point out what should be obvious? Yeah? And the reason is because of our biases. We like what is attractive and agreeable. The word is agreeable. We like what is attractive and agreeable. And what is not agreeable, we don't look at it. So, as far as you are concerned, of course the world has things which are unattractive, we're not looking at them. And therefore, in your world, it's only attractive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Those of you who are awake, do you understand what I'm saying? The ones who are awake, you all know what I'm saying, huh?
Yes.
Because we only want to see what's attractive, so we don't see what's not attractive. That's the first problem. Then, there is something unattractive even in what is attractive to you. A sight that is beautiful will fade. A sound that is lovely will fade. But our mind doesn't want to think of fade. It only thinks of attractive. So we actually don't see fading. We don't see it. And we don't see it, not because it's not there, not because we're stupid, not because we're blind, but because we don't want to see and we don't see. And so when you ask, attractive or not? Yes. And this part, which is very cute, specifically on the body. If you go into the pores, the skin not so nice. It is just like that. You know, woman's hair so long, huh? So long. You know what goes into the hair? You won't smell it. When you start to examine something down to the core, it is not as attractive as your mind persuades itself to be. Okay? So, not that I have anything against long hair. Huh? Do not mistake. Huh? And therefore, there is no letting up on craving. Because you see only attractive. We want to see only attractive. Where got let go of craving? Therefore, in one of the training methods, I'm telling you, in one of the training methods the Buddha taught the monk is, don't focus on the pleasure, don't think, don't shankara the pleasure, shankara the dukkha. In other words, think. You see, okay, example, okay? Very hard to think about what people enjoy. Food. We all enjoy food, right? Now, think of your favorite food and straight away you remember taste. Taste. Now you don't remember taste, remember output of taste. Get it?
Yes.
That is why in the Suta on the sun's flesh, heard of that cute little Suta, the 4 nutriments? And he said the food You think of it as eating the flesh of your only son. When you are eating food, instead of thinking about the pleasure you derive from the taste of the food, you think about the food as your son's flesh, or your only child's flesh. See that? This is training Sanya and Shankara. You're training the mind not to look at pleasure. You're training the mind to now look at pain, to look at ugly. Because your mind is so partial towards pleasure, you really want to train, you have to train it in the other direction. At the end of the day, you're not just to stay there, you're supposed to come back to the middle. That's why it's dispassion. No delighting, no aversion. But our mind, the regular mind, is always on the side of delighting. So you must push it over to the other side to 给它死一下。对不对？你的 die ugly first, see already? Oh, very jialat, then come back to the middle. Okay? This is not so painful lah, but you have to go through the angst a bit. Huh? Okay, now I explain what it means. Sanya with palasa, chitta and ditti with palasa. 对啊，说对啊。Sanya, you see, I told you, Sanya is that baseline in there. Meaning static, it's not static, it's dynamic, but that one changes the slowest. Or actually mine changes even slower. Basically what it means is, your instinct, when you see something, there is an instinctive reaction and recognition, right? When you see something, assuming your brain operates normally, assuming your vision operates normally, when you see something, there is an automatic recognition, right? That's sanya, right? I told you. That automatic recognition takes what is impermanent to be permanent. Takes what is dukkha to be pleasure. Takes what is non-self to be self. Takes what is not attractive to be attractive. In other words, your partiality, your instinct, your assumptions, everything works against you seeing reality as is. Your baseline instinct, already said, you don't think about mortality one. Now you try thinking about mortality. I'm serious. As part of the training, you just do it for half an hour. Next minute I can be dead. Next minute I can be dead. Next minute, then you so choi, then you next minute she can be dead. Next minute she can be dead. Less choi lah. Huh? But you keep doing that, you go at it for 1 hour or half an hour, right? You start to suddenly go, oops. The mind suddenly not quite able to feel delight. That's the thing. You see what I'm saying? You don't believe, you go try. But the regular mind doesn't do that, right? So this sanya with palasa, your basic instincts, your baseline assumption, the way you see the world, it's all geared towards one side. So that's what he meant, instincts. Chitta, even you pause and you wait and you look at the context of the mind, it's still mortality, it's still immortality. So you say, actually I will die. Then the other says, no, you won't die, not tonight. You know you won't die tonight. You know that. So even when you try very hard to say, I will die tonight, no, you won't. You and I know won't. That's the chitta. The context, the entire context of the mind is in that direction. Now comes the third one, which is the most changeable one. A view, a perspective. A part where you know you're actively feeding. That one also say won't. So, 输掉咯. Your instinct says no, the context says no, even when you think about it, you still know. Won't die one.
So after sitting here for the whole afternoon, 2 and I don't know how many hours, how many now say, change already, change already? You know, hasn't quite changed yet lah. You get it. You get it. You're beginning to get it, but you still can't persuade you will die tonight. You can't persuade yourself to accept that. It won't happen. Even if you are 90 years old and know, you look into the mirror already, you know, must come one day soon. Still you say only tonight. 一定不会的啦。我明天要吃我要喝kopi o. I still plan my breakfast, right? So like that, oh. So now you can see how your thought inversion corrupts your mind. And this is our conventional reality, this part. And what's the training about? You want to see the mind as it really is. Oh, so many animation. Next time one shot, okay? Like that. Must be like that. Okay? We always talk about seeing the mind as is, right? Yatha Buddha Jnana Dasana. Actually, it's seeing things as they are. That's actually what it means. Change your lens completely. Okay? Now, what do you do? Implication for the practice. The mind has all those habits, you know that. You yourself know that. So using panya, using wisdom, you constantly Sanya and Sankara. Using Sanya and Sankara to reflect. Sanya is changing the instinctive perception. Sankara, you talk your way into it. So when the Buddha talk about reflection on death, reflection on unattractiveness of the body, decomposition, on anicca, and so on and so forth, all these methods are to break habits. Break sanya, citta, vipallasa, sanya vipallasa, citta vipallasa, ditti vipallasa. Using ditti to change. Because that one you keep changing. Once you talk to yourself constantly for long enough, you do that for enough days, insight will change. The rewiring will happen. And then imagine, you can only imagine when your daily lens is, actually you don't know when you're going to live, how long you're going to live. Death is real. It will happen. I can enjoy, but okay, how? It's not going to be a lot of pleasure derived from sense-based enjoyment. It's okay, it's rising and falling sensations, there's no real essence anyway. That's how your mind will change. You will then see the world, you will live life different. Why? Because we are always clinging. Our mind, as long as you perceive it by the four inversion way, as long as the mind is like this, clinging will not fade. The only way clinging will start to loosen its hold over you is when your mind really perceives the lens is impermanence, it will end, nothing is, there is no essence, it's not real. It comes and go, it comes and go, it comes and go. And then it will start to change. Your clinging starts to become easier to let go of. Okay? Now, the sila component. Remember what I said earlier about how defilements makes the sense of the I very real and very strong and very gripping? we practice virya. We build virya. Virya means your baseline, your regular baseline is a wholesome one. Brahma Vihara is your baseline. I tell you something very cute about us, as if you don't know, but you don't know. We only try not to be nasty. Akusala no good, right? Then what's your baseline? Neutral. The regular person's baseline, as long as I'm not akusala, I'm kusala. Buddha said like that, man. Buddha said Brahma Vihara, which means to say, imagine your baseline is a joyous baseline, meaning when you're not doing anything and there's no one bothering you, everyone bothering you, there's no one bothering you, you are naturally metta, happy. Don't see people that happy. When you're alone, you're happy with yourself. Metta. Hey, is a person normal? Yes! Brahma Vihara means that. To live, the word Brahma Vihara, right, means living divinely, divine living, divine. So it's your dwelling, the regular life. You sit there, do nothing, you smile at the world. People will say, xiao. That is why there was this very cute arahant who goes around going so joyous, and people complain. They complain to Buddha, this arahant, not normal, okay? He's not real because he says so joyous, it's not normal. They complain. And that's the way. And in this training, if your mind goes into the Brahma Vihara, right? You just think about it. When it's in a state of Brahma Vihara, the I is not there. It's missing. It actually you feel very at one with the world. Yes? Not enough, do some more. I ask, yes, you must be this joyous. Yes! He said, I think so. What to do? So, sila is not a good to have. A practitioner, a sila is a de facto mental state. It should be your de facto mental state. People look at you, you should look like the gullible tourist. As you walk the street, right, anybody who wants to swan, can't swan you. Why? Because you're so peaceful and so happy. I am serious, you look very cheerful. Then what do? May you be well and happy, don't be greedy. Don't buy anything. It's okay. You must be peaceful enough for no one to perceive you as a threat, but to perceive you as a kind and gentle and nice person. It's all. Instead of perceiving you as someone who, this one cannot. I think he hide a dagger in there somewhere. The world perceive you to be aggressive, right? 你不要说是他的徒弟 okay? Samadhi. Samadhi is a support for Sila and Panya. The three, Panya, Sila, Samadhi, goes together. At any one time, if you want to hold onto the Dhamma, these three must come forth together. If you have only one of three, you will not experience the Dhamma. You will not hold on to the Dhamma in the way he asked you to. You don't get it. Even 2 out of 3 is not good enough. Don't wait until next life and do the third one. You should be 3 out of 3. Okay? And even in Samadhi, is when the mind is quiet, the mind goes back to reflecting. This is an impermanent existence. Do you know that? The mind is quiet and it's mindful. It should go back to the reflection. This is an impermanent existence. And every experience, as I sit here, is conditionally a reason. And if I am wholesome to the world, the wholesomeness will create a condition for happiness here and now. That's how it works. And as it experiences the happiness of the here and now, this is when I must give back to others. Because I have benefited from the Dhamma, I will give it back. do my part, share the Dhamma. You understand? The three must come together. You do not meditate for yourself, and you are not practicing for yourself. You are practicing to keep the understanding of what is righteousness and what gives real happiness. You taste it, then you can help another taste it. Okay? Now, I give you this cute little, if there's a way of hiding the bottom, it would be perfect.
Yeah, but you never tell me to hide.
Because then, now, reality check. Knowledge of reality as it is liberating. Because you see impermanence. You see, when you don't quite see it, it sounds scary. To realize mortality is scary. To realize that this is not real is scary. But you think about it, right? Whatever pain that you have, it will fade. Whatever agitation, it will fade. Whatever holding on to the perception that you are real and that there is this essence means you've got to keep working very hard to make sure that the world and you agree that you're this good. But if there is no real essence of you, there is just rising, falling of you, then why are you so fixated about preserving the image of you? Preserving what you believe to be you. Only to be so disappointed because the whole world disagrees. Okay? It can be very liberating. Hard to believe because for so long this is what you believe anyway. But I'm telling you that when you're free from mind-made ideas about yourself, about the world, about things, and you learn not to judge, you learn to accept that everybody is conditionally a reason, you also don't get upset too much with the world. Because the world is also conditionally a reason. Because a person in pain will be a pain to everyone else and everywhere else. This is just the way things are. Okay? Now, before we are done, for those of you who have attended retreats and all with me, right? I'm always talking about 5 mental faculties, isn't it? Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. So now we're going to go through this in modern language, modern lingo, okay? What is Saddha? This is very important. You are absolutely confident, you have full conviction that the Buddha has the blueprint to break out. And you will rewrite your own operating system using the Buddha's blueprint. What does this mean? Faith is not just believing in Buddha Dhamma Sangha. That is why even though you say, I am very faithful, but I don't think I'm Suta. Many of us will say like that, right? The reason is because you may believe in Buddha Dhamma Sangha, but you also believe in XYZ more yourself. If you say, I believe it's like that, Buddha can say anything Buddha wants, I still think I'm right. Buddha said, if you have the Eightfold Path, you will realize there will be Aryas. But you know better, I cannot be. You will say. In other words, what you believe, what you think is right, you must be prepared to put it aside if what is right disagrees with the Buddha. You must be prepared to override your own operating system, your software up here. Every bit of your software. For instance,
For instance, you believe people will take advantage of you if you are a nice person. If this is your belief, then Buddha says, Chaga, Karuna, Metta. Then what do? Buddha correct lah, but Buddha time ancient lah. Modern time huh? Will you say that? Or will you say, yeah, but I still must protect myself? Do you say like that? Because someone will put out a question and say, Sylvia, can I ask you, what if people bully me? Your Sada where? Sada is about you, not about relationship with the world. It's not about that, it's about your happiness. It's about your own happiness. You must believe that He knows what are the conditions necessary for the mind to be truly at peace. He knows. And your version of what it takes for you to be ahead may not be good enough for you to be at peace. And you then must decide, do you want to preserve you as you understand it? Or you want to understand what is the unconditioned peace that the Buddha talks about? And you must be prepared to change the way you think, to change the way you act, to change the way you speak, to change the way you operate completely. So if you start from a very low base of a decent person, it's a very hard climb, but you will do it. And if you say, I'm not very smart leh, I'm really not very smart one, I don't even have PSLE leh. But Buddha said it can be done, right? You can see, you can understand, you just have to open your mind. Then you know what you do? To hell with PSLE, no worries, Buddha said can. I just pay attention. It's like that. But how many of us are prepared to put aside our own beliefs, our own assumptions, our own habits of thinking, our own, what we call, you very smart. Yeah. Smart elect. Many of us are not prepared to. We concede to some point, and the stronger your faith grows, the more you concede. That's all. That's why there was a sutta where the Buddha said, only when you are perfectly enlightened, then your faith is perfect. Because even as you are moving, right, there's a part in you that says, can or not, really like that? Really? Yeah lah. It's like that, it's normal. Okay? Now, Virya means to the best of your ability, you will do it as He prescribed. And He prescribed Sila is critical. Wholesomeness proliferate. That's Virya. So as soon as you know you will have the arising of a defilement, right there you need to jam it. Right there you need to stop it. And you do not think, because you will construct according to defilement. And if you perceive in a very akusala way, you also have to change that. Sanya is akusala. You have to change that. I teach you one way of changing. Many a times we will say, the fellow is not nice. He's selfish. We say that. Now we know, when a person is in a good mood, he's no longer selfish. So what does it say? The person has a lot of pain, he's selfish. A lot of people become selfish because of unhappiness. And they don't realize, but they constantly build themselves into more and more unhappy and more selfish. And in the end, they are mother of all selfish and mother of all unhappiness. You don't like mother? Father of all selfish, father of all selfish. It's like that. Now, knowing that, what do? You understand and you don't judge. Because if you're in the same degree of pain, you maybe not so bad, but you may not be able to help being selfish. It's just like that. Understanding the blueprint of the Dhamma means you are prepared to take His word over yours, and you are prepared that for yourself. Virya is about yourself, not about you changing the world.
It's about yourself trying to change your habits. If you have a hot temper, you have to change it into cool. From 100 degree at the drop of a hat to bring it as low as possible, like maybe 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Like that, okay? You will do it to the best of your ability. Sila. Must be consistent with the Dhamma. Sati. This is what it means. Sati is not just being present in the present moment. Sati is when you are in the present moment, mindful of the Dhamma. Okay? That is Samasati. If you go back to your Satipatthana Sutta, you will see consistently using your body to hold your mindfulness, you look at impermanence. With no craving and attachment to the world, it says. So, when you are mindful and you are mindful only of the present moment, you know your sati is tapake. That is why your sati does not lead to enlightenment. Sati has to have Dhamma in it. So the sati, mindful of letting go, mindful of not holding, mindful of being sila, mindful of virya, mindful of having faith, and therefore you will do it as he said. Mindful of all those. That is sati. That is how you change. It is not enough to, I'm aware. I'm aware of anger, I'm aware of anger. I'm aware of anger rising, I'm aware of anger falling. I also can. But how come I still got anger then? Because you're doing it wrong. Buddha says, see the impermanence, see the letting go, see the not holding, no clinging on the world. So you only did one part, caught it. And then all the other parts, what you must do, didn't do. That's why it doesn't work. So I remind you, you make sure you know the Dhamma, you understand the Dhamma, and in the way you deal with daily life, you are consistent with the Dhamma. On track. Okay? Samadhi. In daily life, Samadhi. Stay steady. Hold, focus. Because the sati can fade, right? But sati will fade back. And then back to the Dhamma. Okay? And panya. Read, understand, implement, right? No. When you have realized it. Why do I say got away? Because you're trapped in a certain way of thinking and you are trapped, driven round and round by craving. If craving ceases, dukkha ceases. So you got away. Liberation. Okay? Now, quick Q&A. There's no saving. Yeah. Q&A, any question? Anyone? Does the talk today make sense? It's a very long talk. At the rate we are going, we'll finish at 4:30. Does it make sense? Yes. For those of you who are here, relatively new, anybody who's relatively new to the practice? Aha! Does it make sense?
I understand a little bit.
Ah, okay. Does it make sense? Learning, excellent. Okay, any other thing? No question?